We got the NES Classic. We got the Super Nintendo Classic.
Yes.
Everyone's focusing on what's Nintendo going to do for the next classic system.
Yeah.
People think it's going to be the 64 Classic.
I mean, what else is there?
It might. Or the Game Boy.
Oh,
the Game Boy
true.
Classic. But Sony beat them to the punch.
Yes, they did.
And they have announced that on December 3rd, I think, for $100, you can get the PlayStation Classic.
$100?
$100. It's gonna come with 2 controllers and 20 preloaded games. We don't know all the preloaded games. We just know 5 of them.
Are the cords going to be this long? That's my question.
That is a good question.
Maybe they can do it better than Nintendo did. Well, actually, didn't the Super NES have longer cords?
It did come with longer cords, but they're still not quite long enough.
Weird.
So, the 5 titles that we know of are Final Fantasy VII.
Oh.
Mic drop, that's all you need to know.
Final
Fantasy VII.
go get it.
Jumping Flash, Ridge Racer Type 4, Tekken 3, and Wild Arms. And then 15 others that we don't know what they're coming with.
Isn't Crash Bandicoot? Is that PlayStation 2?
No, it's PlayStation and Spyro. So, and those are kind of important to have on there.
Crash Bandicoot better be on there.
Yeah.
Were all 3 of them for the PlayStation?
All 3 of them. Yep.
All 3 should be on there. And if they don't do them, I know why. It's because of that.
Well, they don't own the license to it. Universal Interactive does. The same thing with Spyro, by the way. No, now it's Activision. I think Activision owns it.
Right.
So, but I don't see why not. So, let's see. So, we're getting Square titles. There's a ton of Square Enix titles. I mean, you've got the other 2 Final Fantasies that you could also throw on there. 8 and 9. They're good. So I hope that they throw them on there. You can also have people think that they might have Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Which would be really neat. The one thing that's kind of weird, well, a couple of weird things with this. So one thing they're already doing better than Nintendo, you could pre-order it.
Hey.
Yes.
What do you know?
Pre-orders.
Have you pre-ordered it yet?
Yes. I pre-ordered it as soon as I saw that you could do it.
Figured.
Yeah.
I kind of want it. I like if the first 3 Crash Bandicoot games are on there, I want that. As we just discussed. Like that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. So the weird things about these are the most obvious one I would say is the controller. The controllers, you're getting 2 of them, but they are the standard non-DualShock versions of the controllers. They don't have the joysticks. They don't have rumble.
They don't have joysticks? I didn't even notice that. What?
Before there was the DualShock, you had the regular old PlayStation controllers.
Wait. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That's so weird.
So
wait, isn't that how the PlayStation 2 controllers are? No.
PlayStation 2 controllers are DualShocks. Yeah, they're DualShock 2s.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. It became standard after that, but halfway through the
that looks so weird.
About halfway through the life of the life cycle of PS1, they released the DualShock controllers.
Oh, nice.
But so yeah, these are so far. I remember when Final Fantasy VII came out in '97, they hadn't released the new controllers, so that game doesn't stand to. You don't get anything from having the DualShocks anyway. Tekken 3 is a later title, so it's kind of weird to have that game without the analog sticks.
Is that what you kind of had to have it with the?
Well, not really, but if you're going to do especially Crash Bandicoot 3, you need to have analog. You need to have analog control. So what people are thinking of, if you take a closer look, it looks like the controller ports are just USB ports. The thing about the DualShock 3s and the DualShock 4s is you charge them and you can actually plug them directly into your PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 via USB.
Oh.
So people are thinking, is this going to let you just use DualShock 3s or DualShock 4s to play?
Well, that'd be cool, but I don't know. I feel like they're not going to do that.
You don't think they'll do it?
I don't know that they'd make it that easy on you, you know? Like,
or you think they're going to sell them separately? Like, oh, you want the DualShock, you're going to have to pay additional for...
I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a hard time imagining them being that cool about it and just making them USB for everyone to just... But then again, it's not like they're like selling it with one controller and making you buy another. So they're already giving you two. So
yeah.
Maybe they really don't care. I mean, because what do they have to...
Right. And it really all depends on what games come on it. Like, if any of the Spyro games come on it, analog, you're going to need to have it. So it is interesting that they're not just including DualShocks. It's probably a money-saving measure, but another thing that's... I don't know why... But they're not including a power brick. It's going to be USB powered, just like the NES and Super NES Classic. They're not including a little USB power brick. And some people are really getting upset over this.
Can't you get one just buy one super easily?
Yes, you can.
I mean, it's kind of lazy though not to include it.
It is, but at the same time, like I think a lot. This is kind of an anecdotal thing that I'm sharing, but I have several extra ones just lying around.
Yeah, from like old phone chargers.
From old
and
phones,
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've got like too many as it is.
I actually do have an extra Apple one.
Right.
At home.
Everyone's got one at least that they can spare. You can also just plug it up directly to your TV in most cases.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the idea, I guess.
Yeah. So I have with the NES and the Super NES Classic that I actually have it plugged directly into my power strip, because I've got like a big Belkin 12 thing, but it also has two USB ports on it.
Oh, nice.
And you can't it's really hard to buy a power strip these days that don't come with little USB power outlets on them. I've got the last 3 that I've purchased have all come with USB ports on them. So I don't see why this is such a huge issue.
Yeah, it's really not.
It's making a big deal out of nothing.
It's kind of odd, but it's not really that big of a deal.
Something else that people are complaining about is they're copying Nintendo.
Oh well, we're gonna get Xbox next, man. It's gonna be hilarious.
Why not? Do it.
The Xbox Classic.
It may now. And I mentioned the 64 may be getting a Classic too, and a lot of people are thinking that announcement is coming soon because the NES and the Super NES on the box, you know how they have like a picture of the controller and then it says Classics under it as like the logo. A very similar design for the Nintendo 64 controller has been trademarked by Nintendo. So a lot of people think that maybe next month they're going to announce that, and it's also going to launch in December. So it's like you have the PlayStation versus the Nintendo 64 console war all over again.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and then most people are just going to buy both because they're cheap.
Buy both because they're cheap?
Yeah.
Oh, because the systems are cheap.
Yeah, they're not that expensive. Yeah. No, not the people, the systems. Do you think Nintendo could do a GameCube?
See, I think
that'd be so cool, a little GameCube.
Yeah, no, it really would be.
But it's too.
Yeah, now that when we're getting into, I would love it.
It'd be like 3 games, right?
3.
I mean, like I don't know, like how.
Well, I mean, this is coming with 20 games. That's almost as many as the Super NES Classic came with. Yeah, it came with 20 plus Star Fox 2 was like the 21st one, which never had an official release.
Right.
So that was kind of like a bonus game. And you had to unlock it, by the way. You had to play through the first level of Star Fox to unlock it. But yeah, it's strange that this is happening. And if they're doing 20 PlayStation games, a lot of people were thinking, well, with the Nintendo 64 Classic, we had 30 NES games, 21 Super Nintendo games. How many games are we going to get on a Nintendo 64 Classic?
Couldn't it be 20 again, you think?
Well, they're going to, if they're going to compete with the PlayStation Classic, I would think they would need to.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering all kinds of things like, can you hack this one too and add more? Here's the crazy thing. I believe the NES and the Super NES Classic only had about 300 megabytes of space on them. This has got to have a ton more.
Yeah.
Because Final Fantasy VII by itself is over, it's like 1.4 gigs.
Right. And this is a good bit bigger. This system is a good bit bigger than the other ones, right?
Size, no, it's 40% smaller, they said. Or it's 40% the size. Something like that.
What is it? Like about...
It's not that much bigger than the controllers.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Looking at it. It's going to be tiny. I think people are going to be surprised at how tiny it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely have an unboxing.
Dude.
Here. I have the original PlayStation.
Oh, really?
That I'll compare it to also. And I have a PS1.
By the way,
the white one.
Are the proportions the same? Like with this NES and the Super NES Classics, are they proportionate?
Also 40%? I don't know.
Because that'd be cool.
That would be cool. I don't have an NES or a Super NES to compare them to.
Yeah, I wonder if they're proportionate to each other. Like,
yeah, I know what you mean. I'd have to look that up.
Okay, but imagine 50 years from now, coming out with the PlayStation 4 Classic.
Oh gosh.
With 10 games on it. It's got Spider-Man. It's got Marvel Spider-Man, and like,
which they could. Well, it depends on if they still have the license.
It'd be so awesome.
But as far as like people complaining, being like, oh, Sony's just copying Nintendo game. It's like you do realize Nintendo didn't invent the plug and play classic system. They've been making Atari versions of these for years. Yeah. They've been making Genesis versions for years. This is not a new thing. And Nintendo wasn't the first one to do it. Now, I do have to say the marketing is very similar. They do the whole with the hand holding it up, just like they did with the NES Classic. And I want to say there's something else that's very similar.
Well, I know PlayStation did a much more obnoxious song in the trailer.
Oh gosh, yeah. The official release trailer. It's very Sony. It's very
weird,
cringe-worthy.
Yeah.
But as far as other games, I think Power Rap the Rapper you could have on there. That's like a rhythm game.
What was that racing game that was on there?
Ridge Racer Type 4, which is basically Ridge Racer 4.
Yeah.
No, we have to be cool with our title. Metal Gear Solid. I would love to see Metal Gear Solid. Cool. I've never played that, and a lot of people think that's the best PlayStation
I want
game.
all 3 of the Crash Bandicoot games on there and so I get it, because my biggest regret in life is growing up with PlayStation 2 and never playing a Crash Bandicoot game.
And PlayStation 2 can play PS1 games.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I never got any of them.
Yeah. So yeah, don't get all upset about the whole Sony's copying Nintendo. Like, this is how the industry works. People copy each other.
Business.
Yeah. So just get over it. If you're gonna buy it, great. If you're not gonna buy it, then
move on.
Move on. Exactly.